It's the same story in Phoenix, in Atlanta, in Nashville. You save for 5 years, you offer over asking price, but within 24 hours, it's sold to an all-cash buyer who didn't even step inside. It's not your neighbor. It is a ghost, a faceless entity managing trillions. They aren't just buying houses. They are buying entire zip codes. Record prices, rates soaring, the American dream is dead. To understand this crime, go back to 2008. While you were panicking, Wall Street saw the sale of the century. They bought thousands of homes a week, using cash, printing contracts faster than you could read them. But they didn't flip them. They kept them, locked them away, to collect rent forever. You are fighting a war with a stick. They have a nuclear weapon. It's called the algorithm. They create artificial scarcity, and housing prices go to the moon. Welcome to the new feudalism. You might be asking yourself a dangerous question right now. Where was the government during this disaster? Well, while millions of families were sleeping in their cars, Washington was busy writing checks. But those checks weren't for you. Instead of saving homeowners, the Federal Reserve and Fannie Mae launched a pilot program. They sold thousands of foreclosed homes in bulk bundles to the highest bidder. It was a liquidation sale of the American dream. This betrayal gave birth to a new kind of monster. Private equity firms like Blackstone saw an opportunity that happens once in a century. They created shell companies like Invitation Homes, armed with a war chest of $10 billion in cheap debt. They didn't just buy houses one by one. They industrialized the process. They swept through neighborhoods like a vacuum cleaner, sucking up every distress asset on the map. Let me paint a picture. Summer 2012. The steps of a dusty courthouse in Phoenix. A local father stands there, sweating in the heat, but he never stood a chance. A man in a sharp gray suit steps up. He doesn't look at the house, he just raises a paddle. All cash, no inspection, sold. In 30 seconds, the father's future was gone. That family went back to renting, likely to the same company. This is the trap. A homeowner builds their own equity, but a renter? A renter is building Wall Street's equity. Every check you write is a brick being taken from your wall and added to theirs. It is a direct transfer of wealth from the poor to the ultra-rich. By 2017, the scale was terrifying. In Atlanta, corporate landlords owned nearly 90% of the homes listed for rent. They weren't just participating in the market. They became the market. And when you control supply, you become a god. You dictate the price. You dictate the terms. And there is nowhere else for the people to go. But profits over people has a consequence. When your landlord is a faceless spreadsheet in New York, then they don't feel the cold when your heater breaks. They only care about net operating income. And in their equation, repairs are just an unnecessary expense. But the method of control has evolved. It is no longer a fat cat in a back room guessing the rent price. It is now a neural network processing terabytes of data every second. Enter RealPage and YieldStar, software used by landlords to automate pricing. But it does something sinister. It allows competitors to share private data. In any other industry, if competitors met in a room to fix prices, they would go to jail. It's called a cartel. But when an algorithm does it in the cloud, they call it optimization. The software tells them, do not lower the rent, even if units are empty. Keep the price high, artificial scarcity engineered by code. This creates a feedback loop from hell. Everyone raises prices together, up, and up. But let's step away from the spreadsheets. Meet the Johnson family in Nashville. They worked 2 jobs, never missed a payment, until the renewal letter arrived. Rent hike, 40%, overnight. There was no negotiation. You cannot negotiate with an algorithm. You pay or you leave. They tried to find a cheaper place, but the algorithm controls those too. So came the day. The eviction, executed by a sheriff just following orders generated by a computer. The Johnsons moved into a motel. The house stood empty for 3 months. Why? Because the algorithm calculated that keeping it empty was better for a long-term valuation than lowering the rent for a human being. This is the true cost. We optimized the market for profit and deleted the home from homeowner. If they can do this to housing, what happens when they apply this same algorithm to your food, your water, your healthcare? This isn't an accident, and it isn't a conspiracy theory. It is a calculated business model designed to strip assets from the middle class. Wall Street has engineered a society where you pay for the privilege of existing. They want to turn the American dream into the American subscription, a world where you own nothing, control nothing, and pass nothing down to your children except debt. You've heard the prediction, you will own nothing and be happy. But look around you. Are people happy? No. They are stressed. They are working 3 jobs just to keep a roof over their heads. The subscription life is not freedom. It is serfdom. And as long as we stay silent, the algorithm will keep optimizing. The rents will keep rising until there is nothing left to take. So what can we do? We cannot outbid Blackstone. We cannot fight their billions with our pennies. But we have one weapon they fear: the light. We expose them. We investigate them. We share the truth. Information is the only asset they cannot buy. And that is why the finance detective exists. This case file is just the beginning. In the next episode, we are going after the banks. Why are they collapsing? And are your savings safe? If you want to see that investigation, hit subscribe. Join the agency. Don't let them keep you in the dark. I am the finance detective. Case remains open.